The case of Farmer versus the University involves a Caucasian female who was severely underpaid compared to the African American male who was previously hired. The case was heard in a district court where she won the case through the Equal Pay Act. University appealed the verdict, but the Nevada Supreme Court refused to hear the case. The Nevada Supreme Court would have read over the case, which clearly lays out the percentages of African American people and people of color to Caucasian employees. The Caucasian employees significantly outnumbered the rest of the employees. Female employees were also considered a minority in the university staff. The pay for the African American male was grossly more than the Caucasian female, which included starting wage and pay raises. Both employees were equally qualified for the position. This leads to the fact that women were significantly underpaid by the university, which is seen as discrimination, and would go on to win the case for Farmer. The Equal Pay Act ensures that men and women who have the same qualifications, including education and previous job experience, are paid equally. Although women were once considered less valuable than the men, the women are making great strides to be equal to men in education and in business. The Nevada Supreme Court's decision was the best option for everyone involved in the case. Farmer had already received $40,000 due to the verdict from the Equal Pay Act. The Supreme Court was correct in their decision to refusal to hear the case, since Farmer was compensated for the unequal pay and no further action is needed. The wrong had been amended, and the next step was to move forward and improve the hiring process for everyone involved. Although the appealed case would cause mudslinging, allowing the appealed case would cause mudslinging and unnecessary digs at one another, leaving the verdict at the first judgment was the best for both Farmer and the university. Essay 2. There are several different theories on what makes a business successful in its career. The longevity of the company with its original name and ideals is one, while the ever-changing and growing company is seen as success for others. The Watchman Commentil Corporation has changes drastically since they began outsourcing their work. Unfortunately, they did not plan their move properly to ensure all measures were taken for the company to be successful in their outsourcing business move. Since the move was not well planned, the company did not have time to train the employees, which created significant problems for the corporation. Because the employees were not trained properly, the company ended up being the victim of identity theft and loss of monies. Eventually, IBM acquired the company, and it became a great and well-known company. If the company had made training the staff a priority, the outsourcing would have been greatly beneficial to the company. The Watchmark Commentil Corporation completed outsourcing that ended badly for the company. The company rushed its outsourcing, which would mean that they would receive income faster. Unfortunately, the company was unable to thoroughly train their employees in the proper way, which put them at risk for mistakes. As a result, the Watchmark Commentil Corporation became a victim of identity theft, and poorly trained employees were of no assistance in this matter. The outsourcing should have been a great business move that would have allowed the expansion in the world. Instead, the corporation was renamed Valent Corporation, which was eventually bought by IBM. The company's outsourcing was not enough to save them from a name change. An eventual buyout in the corporation serves as evidence that outsourcing for this company was not only unsuccessful, but led to the deterioration of the company. Essay 3. It is easier for employees to comply with diversity legislation in Canada than in the United States because they are a more diverse group who use human rights, with each province having their own regulations. Canada is made up of many diverse people. Some of their cities boast that they are the most diverse cities in the world. Canada is also known for their loyalty, since they did not join the United States in their break away from Britain, but stayed loyal to the country. The citizens are now loyal to Canada, whose governing laws vary depending on the province in which one lives. The country is ahead of the United States in many ways, diversity being one of them. The Canadian government focuses on human rights rather than civil rights. Human rights treats everyone like humans, which is how everyone wishes to be treated. On the other hand, the United States upholds civil rights, which hold people to a law to treat others in a certain way. Civil rights take the humanism out of the equation, making it more like a business and less personal. Another advantage to Canada is the Multiculturalism Act of 1985, which created the building blocks for non-discrimination against people of color, females, those who are older or younger than average, and the factors that could lead to discrimination. This was far sooner than the United States, who created a melting pot of different diverse cultures in the mid-1990s. Canada was formed from a diverse group of people. There are two different prominent languages that are spoken and accepted in the country. The provinces oversee their own rules and regulations. Each has different rules that they must follow, but it gets more difficult for the employees who operate in both the United States and Canada since they must follow both countries' laws. Canada employers and employees came from a diverse background, and the laws have been longer implemented. Canada also has a lack of fit category that can be used for someone who truly does not fit into the corporation, which will not be seen as discriminatory toward the individual who was not offered the position in employment. While being an employer is difficult, with all the rules and regulations surrounding diversity, being an employer in Canada does make it easier than to be the employer in the United States. Toys are separated by gender that they are selling to. The baby dolls, Barbies, and dress-up clothes and accessories are all in adjoining aisles, are packaged in pink and purple colors with glitter and sparkles to enhance the want for the girl to buy the toy. Boys' toys, such as sports, cars, and guns, are also in adjoining aisles, which allows the children to easily browse through different toys that are made for them. Toys that are targeted at boys are often blue, orange, red, green, and yellow, or packaged in those colors. Barbies are packaged in pink and purple packaging. Some have sparkling writing. Many of the dolls were Caucasian. Some of them were African American and other minority races. Blonde hair was seen more than brunette hair, and there were a few that had red hair. Most of the dolls were slim, with few being curvy. Male dolls, Ken, were also limited in supply. The accessories only fit the slim Barbies, and there were no Ken or curvy Barbie accessories present. The Barbies represented the slim Caucasian blonde women. The career Barbies represent typical female roles, such as nurses, vets, teachers, and mothers. There were no mechanic or soldier Barbies. The stereotypical female in the United States was fully represented throughout the Barbie section of the store. Baby dolls were specifically targeted at girls, as evidenced by the packaging that showed a little girl playing with a baby doll. The baby dolls were almost all girls as well. This makes it seem as though it is a girl's job to raise babies, not the boys', which could transition into adulthood where it is common for women to stay home with the children while the man works outside the home. Nerf guns are targeted at boys. The packaging and colors of the packaging and guns is boy-oriented. The kids playing with the Nerf guns on the packaging are boys, which leads the purchaser to believe that they are for boys. The children who are playing with Nerf guns on the packaging are of different ethnicities. Toy cars were advertised with little boys in mind. The packaging is typical boy colors with photos of boys playing with the tracks and accessories. There is no girl pictured on any of the packaging, which could lead the children to assume that only boys are to play with these types of toys. Throughout the toy section, there is a general, stereotypical advertising that leads consumers, including children, to believe that boys are supposed to play with trains, play football, skateboard, play with cars, and play with guns, and girls are supposed to play with Barbies, baby dolls, and dress up. This is emphasized by the colors, genders, and races featured on the packaging and the product itself.